So, as you can see here, we already imported a schematic. I already made some small changes to it, but not really anything important. If you don't recognize the location, this is actually the Judgment Hall from Undertale, and that is also going to play a part in how we're going to be lighting the place. So the first thing I like to do whenever I'm making a scene, before I even get to lighting, is to do is to make the scene, to set up the scene, set up the camera angle, set up the characters, the poses. It gives you a good guideline on what you're going to do and what you're not going to do. Because let's say my camera is facing this way, let's say it's looking this way, or let's say the camera is looking directly at this wall. We're not then gonna put a bunch of lighting over here because the camera is out of view. And I think for this one, I'm going to make a scene with Sans and maybe Frisk or Kara, whichever one I decide to do, whichever one I can find a better skin for. So I'll get back to you once I get the characters imported. Alright, so now I got these Frisk and Sans imported in, and I think for their pose, I think I'm just gonna go for what am I gonna go for? Just basically maybe a pose where Frisk's hand is, maybe we see her knife, and Sans is standing down at the end. I think that could look cool. So now that we got the basic composition of the scene laid out, this is just basically it. You know, Sans just standing there looking like a chill guy, and we can do effects and stuff there. Now you may think, okay, this is good. Now what's next? Most people, they'll just turn this on, and boom, that's their render. They'll just turn this on, and boom, that's it. You'll see that this is their render. They can look at the camera view. It looks really bad. Let's not sugarcoat it. It looks really, really bad. But we can fix that, right? First things first. Let's go to the environment settings. Let's just adjust some things. Let's set the camera to Academy Aces and light management right here. Academy Aces here. It's fine. It looks a bit better already, but still looks like crap. So we'll have to go to ambient. Well, first and foremost, if you're making an indoor scene, turn sunlight strength to 0. Just do it. We're gonna go to ambient, and you're gonna notice it's gonna be very extreme. And don't worry, that's fine. That's because we don't have any lights. So, because ambient basically changes the color of the shadows, and because we don't have any light, basically everything is in shadow. So we will fix that in a bit. I'm gonna place some lights in here. I'll say a spotlight. First, we have to use a good amount of lights. You gotta place these lights around where you believe they should be coming out from. I'm going to move Sans back or forward. Back. Yeah, I'm gonna move him back so that he's here. Right, he's right there. I'm gonna increase the strength to make that look really harsh. In fact, I'll lower it a bit. And then I'll reduce the ambient. But then we'll also have to add lights coming out the other windows, because there are other windows. Turn that off just so I can move it without making lagging. We'll turn on subsurface scattering. You'll notice there's some good light on the knife, and if we go to, I'll increase my samples just so that we can actually preview this. Yeah, it becomes a lot softer. Put this back to 1. Then we can change the subsurface scattering color to more match the environment. do that. And in my opinion, it already looks like pretty good. You know, it looks pretty decent. Let's add some subsurface scattering to you. That's cool. And I feel like the lighting is alright. For what it is, I believe the lighting is alright. It could be better. It really could. But I believe that it's alright. It's serviceable. It's serviceable. Now, I'm gonna make a few more like adjustments, but I'll get into like camera stuff. Camera stuff is really where you make your shit look good. Like that's really where you do it. I believe what we're gonna do now is that we're going to have to edit the camera settings, because this is really where a lot of the quote unquote where a lot of the magic happens, I guess you could say. You can just do that. I don't really increase. I can increase in the gamma. We can reduce the gamma a bit. Put this on so you can get a good idea. And reduce the gamma a little bit. Then what we can then do is color correction. But color correction is also very important. Increase contrast like 20%. And brightness to like also 20%. No, a bit more. 10. 5. Then saturation, we can up that a little bit. And the color burn, we very slightly, very ever so slightly, just a little bit, a wee bit, right? Then chromatic variation to 1. Personally, what I like to do, you need to make it like very subtle, or amount to 2. Then what we can then do also depth of field, and a trick to some people struggle with depth of field. What you can do, increase blur size all the way, increase blur size like all the way to the max, and then just adjust the depth. For this, I want the sands to be the main one in focus. You do this, and then you increase the fade size and then reduce the blur size, like that. And then in case you just want to like double check, you want to like reduce the focus range or increase the focus range, you do this, and then just reduce the blur size. Boom. You know what? I want to just check something. I'm just trying to experiment real quick. Where's he? Him? Let's make his eyes glow. Can I make his eyes glow? He's making his eyes glow something that I'm allowed to do. Like I can see them glowing. They just don't. They just don't want it. I can see them glowing. Okay, if I set all of these to glow, I can see it making his face brighter, but it's just not. They're just not actually glowing. All right, that's fine. What we can do, we can try adding light rays to this. Boom! Look, that looks really good. That looks really good. No, that looks nice. That looks really good. And a little something we can do, a little extra something that can be done, is that we can actually add, we can just reduce the roughness on the characters just a bit. And we can go into project and make this guy, because if you just a quick tip, when you reduce the roughness or the metallic, by default, it'll actually reflect the color of the sky. So you didn't know that. So you make the color of the sky like orangish. That does that. that to like 61. And then for Sam's, again, use his roughness. Doesn't really affect him much, so I'll just reduce it to 90. Boom. And our scene is already looking incredibly good. Really good, in my opinion. This looks much better than it did before. But then, is there anything else we can add? Okay, so I'm just going to give his eye a shine, because why not, you know? I'm gonna give his eye a shine, because after all, why not, you know? In my personal opinion, that looks really good. That looks really good. It looks really good. So we're pretty much done. Besides the fog, I just remembered I said I'd add fog. So first, reduce the phase size to 0. Let's remove this for now. That's to 0. I want the fog to be like around. Oh yeah, okay, we'll use the camera. Here, fade. Really increase the fade size and then increase the distance. There we go. Boom. And just like that, we got a really good looking render. Boop. And if you compare that to how the render was before, you'll see that this is a lot nicer looking, in my opinion. So just apply the things you saw me do, the camera settings I used, the way I imported these, which if you guys want, I can make a more detailed video on like how to use these images in your renders and stuff. But I feel like for now, that's where we're going to close this video. I hope you learned something from this. And if you didn't, comment down below so that I can make a more detailed video on whatever you did not understand. Anyway, I will see you guys later. Peace out.